Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and wow, we've got a lot to talk about today in our Raid Shadow Legends wrap-up video. So, episode 6 of Call of the Arbiter is going to be launching soon, and this one centers around a G-Zone. Now, Plarium has decided that they're going to be releasing a new champion with this episode, and it's going to be kind of a special tournament in game that players of a certain level will compete against each other and all of that. So I think some players are going to be a little bit upset about this, and I will give you my thoughts and reaction to that, while also going over if this champion's any good, if it's trash, if it's meta, all of that. I'll give you kind of my first thoughts on the champion's kit, and then we've got a guaranteed event coming for a Void champion. Plus, we know the 10x champions that are going to be involved in some of the summoning events over the weekend. And here in a few hours, we are going to have none other than Hell Hades stopping by to have an interview with me about his new game studio and game that's going to be in development. So there's a lot going on, and I will keep you in the loop. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so the hot topic today is going to be the new champion being added to the game, obviously with the Call of the Arbiter series, and there's going to be a lot to talk about there. So before we dive into that, I want to go over some of the quick hit news type stuff. So they are going to be launching a 10x event for the champions that you see over there on the right. Cardiel, Duchess, Brogni, Pythion already being in a 10x, and then Madame Ceres, Skadix, Ashok, and Sepulcher Sentinel. So really good champions here. Cardio, Duchess, I mean, like every legendary is really good. All of those legendaries are probably, I mean, Cardio, Duchess, and Pythion are all probably top 20, top 15, top 20. And Brogni's probably close to that conversation, top 25-ish. So yeah, like 4 arguably top 25 legendaries in the game. Cardio and Brogni pretty similar in around like maybe 20 to 25. And then Pythion and I mean Duchess is probably top 3. Pythion's probably like top 15. Cardiel, Brogni, probably top 20, top 25-ish, somewhere around there. So very good champions, but that's not all. They are also going to be launching a guaranteed event for Godseeker Aniri with 25 Void Shards. And this kind of makes sense. Godseeker Aniri has been one of the main talking points in the Call of the Arbiter series, and she was involved in the episode where Athel was kind of exiled from the Sacred Order and went off on her journey. So not surprising that we're seeing Godseeker be featured in-game in an event, while Plarium is obviously focusing a lot on the Call of the Arbiter series. Then also, Cardio was the next champion that I predicted Plarium would do a guaranteed event for a Void Lego. I thought it would be Cardio. We're getting him in a 10x instead, and they're going the route of an epic champion for the guaranteed. So now I'm going to be curious if the next guaranteed Lego will be something different than Cardio, since they just put him in a 10x and they did the guaranteed for Godseeker Aniri. Now, Godseeker is a very solid epic. Not only very good for like early to mid-game accounts for progression, but also extremely good in the end game in certain compositions to unlock certain teams that you'll see take down the Sand Devil Necropolis and all of that. So Godseeker definitely makes sense for a lot of accounts out there to consider going for if you have 25 Void Shards laying around. And a lot of the epics that they've done previously, you can see Plarium has tried different numbers. They did Ursula for 15, they did Madame Ceres for 30, and they also did Godseeker already once before, back a year and a half ago. They did Godseeker right here for also 25 Void Shards. So Godseeker getting a 2.0. I think this is the first time we've seen a guaranteed champion come back around and be a guaranteed champion again. I'm trying to look through here and remember, but yeah, I don't think we've ever seen that before. So hey, we've got a first time for Plarium right here. Godseeker, a guaranteed event back in January of 2022, and then also in June of 2023. But okay, let's get to the important topic of the day, and that is going to be Tatsu being added to the game in honor of the Call of the Arbiter series via a tournament for players to compete against with each other if they are at least level 51 on their account. Now, the top left number on your main Bastion screen, you can see my account up there next to my avatar says 100. That's my account level, and players that are at least level 51 are going to be able to compete against each other in a champion development tournament to go after Tatsu. And I think this is a little bit of an L on 2 different fronts. I think it's a little bit I don't know. Like you're announcing a new champion for players to go after, but it's gonna be a tournament where they have to compete against each other. So you've only got 1% of the player base that is gonna be able to acquire this champion, because I'm assuming that you're gonna be now it could be tournament groups of 200, but it'll probably be tournament groups of 100. So you've got 1% of the player base that'll be thrown into tournaments to compete against each other. So right out the gate, it's kind of like a sour taste in your mouth, because you're kind of excited about a new champion, but then we all have to compete against each other for that champion in a tournament. But then also, it's only going to be for the accounts out there that are level 51 and higher. I mean, the Call of the Arbiter series is probably designed to bring new players into the community, to get a show out there, to get new people excited to try the game. Then you release a champion with the Call of the Arbiter series, where it's only people that are at least level 51. Now, level 51 is not crazy. It doesn't take like 2 years to get to level 51 or something. So it's not like it's some insane requirement, but I do think it's a little bit of an L that that the event for Tatsu doesn't involve the whole player base, even like the new players out there. I think it would have been a lot better to do. I mean, I guess they already did an event for RTAC, so they can't really do like another login champion right away. So like, I get where their head is at, but I would have liked a different way. I can't think of a better way, like off the top of my head while I'm recording, but it just feels like a little bit of an L to have a tournament that pits players against each other of only a certain account level for a hyped up new champion to do with the Call of the Arbiter series. But anyway, all of that aside, let's go over the champion's kit and let's see if we've got some potential here. So I'm going to need to find out the multipliers. Since we have a damage dealing champion, admittedly, I can't accurately predict or grade for you super well, but I can tell you if the kit at least has potential if the damage is there. Like if the base stats are decent and if the multipliers are decent, we can try to figure out if there's going to be some potential here based on the kit. So, okay, we've got an A1 here, attack one enemy 2 times, and then each of those hits is going to transfer a random debuff from this champion onto the target, and also fill this champion's turn meter by 5%. So, if Tatsu has 2 debuffs, we're going to be transferring both of them to the target, while also filling the turn meter by 10%. It's a multi-hitter, so if that thing hits similar to like Candrafon's A1, like a double hitter that hits decently hard, that could be a pretty solid A1. Then for the A2, we've got an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. I like that, and we can book up to 100% chance of placing a decreased resistance on all enemies, and then also a sleep on all enemies for 1 turn. I mean, hey, it's CC, that's good. And with her being a damage dealer, she's probably going towards the back end of your rotation. So there is a pretty good chance that you'll get good value out of the sleep right there, as long as your allies aren't interrupting it, which is going to synergize pretty decently with her being a damage dealer. Then we've also got fill this champion's turn meter by 10% for each debuff placed. And we've got a chance to place, what, 8 different debuffs in the arena? So fill the champion's turn meter by 10%. You could get an 80% turn meter fill on a 3-turn cooldown there. That's pretty nice. That could definitely be impactful. And then the A3 is going to be 1 enemy 2 times. It's a 4-turn cooldown. That is unfortunate. Before attacking, is going to remove all debuffs from this champion and steal all buffs from whoever you target. That is nice. That's pretty good. And then place a 50% increase attack and a 30% increase crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns if they get a kill. Okay. If it hits hard, it'll be good. And then these buffs cannot be removed, which is good. So the meta's kind of shifted towards self-sustaining DPS champions. We've seen like Turvald and some of those champions rise up the board and get used a little bit more often in the live arena. So that is kind of nice that she can buff her own attack and her own crit damage, but she does have to get a kill to get there. But then also we get a passive down here that is immune to sleep. So that'll be really strong against like Kaimar and Siphi's A1, Shogger, like some of these champions that can place a sleep on her. She's going to be immune to that. So that's a nice little passive to get. And then increase the champion's accuracy by 10 and crit damage by 3% for each buff on the enemy team. Obviously, buffs are super common in the arena. So a pretty good chance that she could get what? If each one of them has 2 buffs, that would be 80 accuracy. Yeah, so it has 2 times 4, put 8 times, yeah, so 80 accuracy, and then what, like 24 crit damage, just if your whole opponents have 2 buffs apiece, and you're immune to one of the CCs in the game. Like, that's a pretty cool passive just to get bonus value. So all in all, I would say, yeah, there's potential here. Do I think Tatsu is gonna be the best champion in the game, or be some like Marichka Taras meta changing thing? Probably not. But do I think she has potential? Yeah, it's a little bit, you do kind of need some very special mechanics to compete with some of the damage dealers that are out there, your Rotos and Harima and the different ones that are running around the live arena and stuff. But I do think she'll have a place in the game, and it's at least an interesting kit with some potential. But then as far as the game stuff happening today, you've got your Spider Tournament for Great Hoof Loriaka. For those of you that are still going after the fragments in there, you're going to want to pay attention to that over the next day and a half before that ends. And then you've got the Artifact Enhancement, and today the double dipping of the Dungeon Divers and the Spider, but hopefully you grinded that during CVC, so you're able to triple dip your points instead of double dipping. And then the Summon Rush that you see down here, I can make myself a little bit smaller. And there we go. So yeah, that's going to be kind of a countdown to when the 10x and some of the weekend shenanigans with the guaranteed Godseeker and all of that is going to be starting. So at least if you're going after Loriaka, if you're going to be pulling for like the Godseeker or something, you'll get a little bit of bonus points towards your Summon Rush and all of that. And then also a quick reminder that the Doom Tower is going to be ending here for Dark Fae. So get that lethal set and the secret rooms and all of that done here. Just your quick reminder that that is going to be switching over soon. As far as the shop, okay, this one might be worth plugging in because it's actually a pack that is special with the Call of the Arbiter series. Okay, so we've got the Jizo pack that's going to be 15. I'll put it up on the screen here after I plug it in. We got 300k right there, 1500 energy, and boom, and then 100 multi-battles, and boom. And then we've got the 4 void shards of boom, and then 10 energy refills right there. Okay, we've got a 1.46. There we go. It's been a while since we got a good offer. So this one that we see right here, the Jizo's Power Pack, going to be coming through with a 1.46. We probably only get an offer that grades out as a 1.4 about every 2 or 3 weeks or so. So if you're a spender on raid, at least to like a medium level, this pack would be worth considering, but it is a little bit unfortunate that it's going to be time gated over the course of 3 days. But if you bought it today, that would get you a little bit of the progress towards like the Godseeker Aniri event. It would give you 4 void shards. Not a lot, but if you're sitting at like 15 to 20 void shards and you really want to go after Godseeker Aniri because you don't have her yet or something like that, then this pack would have a little bit more value for that kind of a player. So at least it's a decent pack. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good in the grand scheme of like average Plarium packs. This one, no. Wait, do we have oh, okay. I thought it was Battle Khazar for a second. This one's not that great. We plugged this one in yesterday, the Great Tome pack, and no. Okay, so really nothing super noteworthy, but the Jizo Power Pack is at least a 1.46, so it's at least decent. And there we go. I will make sure over on the community tab here on the channel to ask your opinions of the new champion and ask if you're pulling for Godseeker Aniri and all that, so we can get some input from the community trends and how people are feeling about the different things going on. Let me know your thoughts down below on how Plarium is implementing this new champion via a champion development tournament that will go live after the Jizo episode, which by the time this video comes out, the Jizo episode will probably be concluded and all of that. So I think it's going to be a hot topic in the community for sure. I've got to go get ready for an interview with Hell Hades, and that video will probably be coming out here on the channel tomorrow, where we talk about his new game studio and game that he's developing. So lots of things going on right now in the community. I appreciate all of you. Remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content. I'll see you soon in the next video. Thanks. Peace.